Everyone, what you see on the screen in front of you is a template that you can use for the recommendation report for your third project. Your task is to go back to your first solution that you provided for the problem in project 1 and look for alternative solutions as well. You're going to evaluate all of these solutions together based on a set of criteria and make a recommendation based on how all of your solutions stack up against the criteria that you created, and make a recommendation. So we start off here with the kind of memo portion, right? This is how you set up a proper memo. And you'll see as we go through that we're using headings. And I have information for you on how to use headings properly. So you're going to have an introduction section. This particular example is recommending a purchase of a particular kind of printing press. The problem is they need a new one, and this is a recommendation report for a particular purchase. Yours may not be for a purchase. Yours may be for implementing a particular kind of solution that has nothing to do with maybe a physical product, but you're still going to follow this same format regardless. So your introduction sets up what you're doing. Here's the problem, and I am coming up with a solution. The next part is you have to come up with a set of criteria by which you can evaluate your solutions. So you might have 3 solutions to the problem of, replacing tires on trucks. Okay, somebody did something on retreads. So you might have as what's the best solution for putting tires on trucks. You might have as one criteria the cost cannot exceed such and such. Warranties, number of miles that can be driven on those particular tires. Things like I don't do much with tires, but what kind of traction do they have on different terrain, etc. Whatever your criteria are, that will help you evaluate whether the solution you've selected is the right one. So basically what you're doing is you're taking all of your solutions and examining them all in the same way. So you're trying to look at apples to apples. If you just examine each solution individually based on its own criteria, you're not going to be doing a fair assessment of the solutions. Hope that makes sense. So you're going to come up with your criteria and explain them. Then you're going to look at each of those criteria individually, explain the criteria, and explain how each of your solutions stacks up. Now this one we were able to do a table, and I don't know if any of you will have any luck with tables or not. If you have a lot of numbers, then tables are nice. So this person is comparing the 2 printing presses, and they're comparing it on the basis of price, dryer availability, console control, auto register system, and floor reinforcement, whether that needs to be done. These are all the different cost variables, so they line those up nicely in a table. Okay, that may or may not be an option for you. So then we have below the cost here, they had another criterion is the singular of that word, another criterion explained, and not enough information here for a table, so they just discussed it, which I imagine most of you will be doing. I don't think a lot of you will have this kind of cost analysis, or like this table down here looking at options that are part of the 2 different machines they could buy. So I like this format, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. I like how the headings are used, right? We have heading here, subheading, very consistent. So once you go through all of your criteria evaluation, and again, you probably will be doing this in paragraph form, but tables will work as well if you have them. You have 2 things, a conclusion and a recommendation. In the conclusion, because most of the time you're not going to be the one making the ultimate decision, in a conclusion you sort of explain why you're rejecting the solutions you're rejecting. Does that make sense? So you're telling the reader of the report, these other solutions, in summary, this is why they're not going to work. And that's what this person's done here. They explained why the one particular printer that they're going to reject wasn't a good option. And then they explain why they're recommending the machine they are recommending. So you're going to explain why. It's kind of like a final overview, a summary of all of your analysis. Why you rejected the two solutions you did. Maybe one's too expensive, maybe one's impractical, for whatever your reasons. And then explain why you would recommend the solution you are recommending. So what you find sometimes in reports, and this is a short one, yours may not even be this long, what you find often in reports is that the people it's going to, and sometimes it is multiple people, not just one reader, they aren't necessarily all reading the report for the same information. For an example, if a report's going to an accountant, they might just scroll through and look just at the cost comparison here, right? So different people, maybe somebody interested in safety is looking down just at the part that talks about safety, or whatever that person's role is in the company that you're working. So people are looking at different things. You feel sometimes like you're repeating yourself a little bit as you go through a report, and that's fine, right? You've got your introduction, which might repeat some of the information in your conclusion, your recommendation. That's fine. Don't think that you've made a mistake. Because different people may be looking at these different sections, you're sort of obligated to repeat some things as you go. Does that make sense? So yours is, again, not going to look like this exactly, but you should use this general template to sort of organize your ideas.